extremely versatile. You can fry them, you can bake them, you can steam them, you can mash them. They're delicious all round.
I had an English grandmother she had this great skill of picking vegetables out of the garden and then boiling them grey.
Great skill, that one.
Yeah, but potatoes she was really good at. She can't wreck them that badly, which is great.
Well, we're going to visit a fourth-generation potato farmer. Jones's Potatoes supplies some of the best restaurants in Melbourne and also some of the best farmers markets around.
OK, bring on Potato Nado. You seen that movie?
No, I have not. Can you promise me you don't make that joke with Gordon?
I promise.
OK.
Yeah, sure.
What better place to find a potato farmer than in the potato patch?
How are you,
Gordon.
Karen?
I'm Karen.
Richard.
G'day, Richard. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Fourth-generation potato farmer.
Yes, that's right. I grew up not far from here, just on the next hill, on a potato farm with my father and family.
How many varieties would they be growing back then, and what do you grow now?
They might have grown 2 varieties back a generation or 2 ago, but to cater for a good spread, we've actually got about 11.
Yeah.
OK. Well, shall we have a wander in your paddock?
I'll see if I can get a plant, give you a look at the way they form.
It's great seeing the blush of pink come from the earth, isn't it?
These King Edwards tend to be very shallow. Typically, you'd expect to see about 5 or 6 potatoes under each plant.
Yep.
These ones have probably got at least another month, maybe 6 weeks to grow, to mature, to reach the size that are marketable. We'll keep them going till they're roughly the size of a tennis ball.
Gordon, you are a wealth of knowledge as far as potatoes are concerned. I would love to cook with some of your potatoes today.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I've got a question. Can I come out and help you with the harvest?
I think we'll find a spot for you, Richard. You forgot your boots.
Oh, Karen. I'm driven by my nose. What are you cooking?
Aha, well, I did get started, but you can see there is no pot boiling. What I did was put the potatoes on a tray
Of salt.
of salt. And it's rock salt.
Why would you do that?
Well, it imparts flavour and it intensifies the flavour of the potatoes. So, Rich, we're going to make a baked salmon and potato salad with a sauce grabiche, which is a fancy word for tartare with a bit of chopped egg.
OK.
So, Rich, to cook the salmon, we're going to do it all in one piece.
Yep.
Now, some people might think that's a little bit intimidating, but it's actually easier. We're going to wrap it up and pop it into the barbecue.
Okay.
So all we simply need to do is grab some baking paper
Yep.
and foil.
All right.
You need a nice big piece of baking paper. And we're going to use our Matador topper in a second. And literally, it's a matter of putting a little bit of salt down, Rich, if you could. I've got a kilo piece of salmon here. It's had the bones removed.
Yep.
Skin is still on. A little bit of pepper. And, Rich, if you could, just a squeeze of lemon. We're just going to cook the salmon in its own juices with the seasoning and the lemon.
Okay.
Pop a little paper on top, and then it's a matter of sealing the salmon in. I'm going to pop it
There you go.
inside the topper. Rich, the barbecue is really well preheated on high. We close the lid, 12 minutes, and then a bit of a rest afterwards.
OK. What happens with the salad?
Well, what we're going to do is make this sauce grabiche I was talking about. It's just a classic mayonnaise-based sauce. I like to lighten it up a little bit by adding some yoghurt. So we'll start with the mayonnaise.
And that's one we've made with just egg yolk.
And a couple of tablespoons of low-lactose yoghurt. It also just lightens the mayonnaise up a little bit. Now, this sauce wouldn't be quite the same without some capers and gherkins.
My
And the
favourites.
always fresh capers and gherkins are outstanding. We need to chop over the capers.
Yep.
And I'll chop the gherkins.
That's about 2 tablespoons of capers there.
And the same with gherkins.
And this one with
2 tablespoons. I wanted to get some Dijon mustard into this sauce just to spike it with that peppery flavour. Black pepper. And Rich, if you could pick some dill and parsley and chop over it finely, that would be great. And I've got 4 Sunny Queen eggs. These have been boiled for around 8 minutes, so they're quite firm. It is about the texture of the egg itself through the sauce. You could finely grate them or chop them roughly like this. So, Rich, I have forged ahead here and added the whole egg.
I thought you might do that, so
How intolerant of me.
with egg, they rate it on a scale of, like, your sensitivity on a scale of 1 to 5. So the egg white, 5. Can't have it. Makes me very sick. But egg yolk, 2.
Okay.
So I'm going to make my own little one on the side.
He's ready to go. Now, Rich, I'm going to add this egg, and I reckon our fish is done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of lifting it out and setting it aside. I'm going to leave it for 5 minutes and then have a little look inside and see how it's going. You can hear it sizzling. Rich, I'm just going to undo the fish.
Yep. That looks pretty good.
Yeah. And you can see it's still resting and it's got a little bit of give there.
Nice.
So to put the salad together, I've got the cooked fish, sauce is done, and these potatoes have rested now. They're not quite so hot, but they're still lovely and warm. So, Rich, just cut it open, have a look at the flesh,
Yeah.
maybe peel a little bit of the skin off, and just drop it on the bottom of the plate.
Okay.
I actually like the texture of the skin, though, and also the flavour. And if you wanted to dress this salad right up, I probably shouldn't even talk about it because I haven't decided to do it, but you would fry these skins off and crunch it over the salad. Now that I've said that,
Now she
we
wants
should
to
be
do
doing
it.
Next on, I've got a handful of edamame beans and sprinkle them over. I've got a little bit of wakame here. I think the texture of the seaweed really works with the fish. Right, let's have a look at this fish. So you literally just pull the fish open and then drop the flake onto the salad. And the tassel salmon, such a beautiful fish when you bake it like this. Just for crunch as well, got some radishes. They've been finely sliced and soaked in some cold water. And I'm just going to drop a few of those on. And the sauce grabiche, I would dollop a little bit on top, but also serve a little bowl on the side so people can have a little bit more if they so choose. And to dress this salad right up, I'm going to fry the skins off.
Very quick, because they're already...
They're cooked.
They're crispy, they're done.
And then I'm just going to put them along the side
Yeah.
as to not cover the salad right up.
Okay.
And that is an absolute delight. That's my barbecue baked salmon and potato salad with sauce grabiche.
I think you're on a winner here.
Potato skin is heaven.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give this to you. I want to rush off, and I'm going to go and harvest some potatoes with Gordon. Ciao.
Well, it's so great to have Chris Bonello here from Zagami's Restaurants. He is the executive chef of all restaurants, Zagami. Is that correct?
That's correct, Karen.
What have we got here, and what is the dish you're making for us today?
So dish today, you've got some lovely Cape Grim Tomahawk Steaks with Jones potatoes salad.
Delicious meat and potatoes. We can't go wrong.
Okay, so start by seasoning the meat. Salt, black pepper. Got a hot barbecue over here, 250 degrees. So we're gonna cook that for 4 minutes on one side. Then we're gonna flip it over 15 minutes and it's done. Okay, so next we've got some potatoes that someone needs to peel them. Karen, will you kindly do that for me?
Yes, I'm up. Yes, chef.
Thank you.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
So while Karen's peeling potatoes, we're gonna start on our vegan-friendly mayonnaise.
I've normally got people to do this job for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna pour the soy milk in.
What's the secret to your vegan
So
mayonnaise?
the secret is I always get inspired with the Japanese mayonnaise. I think it's got a beautiful flavor, but unfortunately it's got a lot of MSG in it. So I always try to recreate that taste because it's very unique. So by adding some soya sauce and a bit of mirin in there, then emulsifying with the grapeseed oil, it creates that umami flavor as well to the mayonnaise. Okay, lid back on.
Chris, I'm a terrible potato peeler.
Okay, we've got our grapeseed oil going in slowly, gradually. Okay, that's gonna go straight into piping bag.
How long will the mayonnaise keep, Chris?
This will keep, I would say, a good 4 or 5 days in the fridge. Easy.
Look, I'm getting there.
Hey,
Okay.
getting there.
I'm getting
Tomahawk's looking good. So next, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna flip it again,
Yes.
put it on the resting rack.
Beautiful. They are looking
Beautiful, nice color.
sensational.
Okay, so all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna close the lid, and we're just gonna turn the barbecue off.
So that's going to just then use the radiant heat
Radiant heat.
to finish cooking.
Cooking and resting at the same time.
And resting at the same time.
At the same time.
Wow, I've never used it like that before.
Yeah, interesting.
See, always
Thank
something
you.
to learn from cooking.
Okay, then next we're moving up to our leaf salad that we're gonna have on the side as well, Karen. So I got some beautiful Cosberg in
Oh,
here.
I love Cosberg.
So pretty simple. Just gonna peel all the leaves out. We've got some radishes, which I'm gonna quickly warm up on the barbecue, and we're ready to plate up.
Do you want me to sear them before it cools down too much?
Yeah, let's do that. Yep,
So a little olive oil, and just on the flat
on the flat grill.
grill. These won't take long at all,
Go
will
on
they?
there, literally
No.
just 15 seconds in there. That's it, done.
Yes?
So next step, we're just gonna dress these beautiful Cosberg leaves. I'm gonna keep it very simple. A bit of lemon, squeeze all the juice in. Olive oil, fresh pepper.
The smell of that tomahawk cooking is just divine, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, so Cosberg leaves are all dressed. Just gonna
There's
put
nothing
these.
worse than an underdressed salad, is there?
Correct. You need to see the shine and the lettuce. So I'm gonna start plating up the potato salad. Oh, and I need some wild herbs.
Well, I reckon we've got plenty here. What do you
Plenty.
need?
Plenty. Actually, in the back there's some summer purslane in there. There's some wild amaranth. We also got some chickweed.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
You give it a go. Go for it. Good luck.
Okay, Chris, I've got quite a selection here.
Oh,
I'm
beautiful.
only up with a few of them, so
Oh, brilliant. So we've got some beautiful amaranth over here. We've got the rocket flowers, chickweed, and we've got a summer purslane over here as well. All right, let's start with plating up the potato salad. So I'm just gonna pipe some mayonnaise on the plate. I reckon the potatoes are that beautiful that it doesn't need to be coated all the way.
it's a lot less heavy too.
A lot less
isn't it?
heavy. So I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly do a bit of olive oil, a bit
Yeah.
of salt, pepper over here. I'm gonna toss these through. I'm just gonna randomly stick them on the plate. I also got some peas. I'm gonna scatter around, a bit of color. We'll get some of the onions out.
These ones?
Yes, please, thank you.
Always fresh balsamic onions.
Just on top, yeah, just random. You also got the lovely radishes that we quickly fried before.
It's not just a simple potato salad.
I'm gonna put a bit more mayonnaise on top, just random dots. That's our tomahawk ready as well.
Would you
All
like them-
rested.
Would you like them out?
Yes, please.
They are two impressive steaks.
Can't wait to get into that one.
They're like yabba dabba doo
I know.
steaks. Okay, what's next?
I'm gonna finish the garnishing the potato salad. Okay,
Okay, Chris, we'll
time to slice the tomahawk.
get in there.
In there.
My friend.
Okay. Yeah, all good.
Superb.
Superb. Can I also please get a couple of lemon cheeks, Karen? That'd be great. Also got some fresh watercress. It's got a nice acid flavor to it.
There's a
and you've
couple
got
of
to do cheeks in here.
That's Chris Bonello's Tomahawk Steak with Jones potato salad. Well, I know that Rich won't want to miss out on sampling this, but of course I've forgotten the potato farmer himself.
No, Gordon.
Gordon!
Here you are.
And Rich, welcome.
Hello.
Look what we've been doing.
It's very Barney rubble, isn't it?
It's Yabba dabba doo.
That's it.
The Bronte
Yeah, and
burger.
there's a beautiful potato salad there.
I'll try these potatoes. Have to go with the
yeah.
potatoes first.
Gordon, what do you think of the way that Chris has done the potatoes?
No, I think he's done wonders. Absolutely beautiful. Just the right amount of cooking. Lovely dressing that hasn't killed the flavour of the potatoes. You'll make a chef one day.
Brilliant. Thanks for your kind words. Love it.
Rich, it's a very exciting day on Intolerant Cooks. We have a visitor, Dr Jason Tye-Din. You are a complete expert on everything we cover on this show.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Thanks for having me too, Richard.
You're welcome.
Well, I guess, look, I look after a lot of people with coeliac disease, but irritable bowel syndrome and low FODMAP diets are also an important part of what I do.
You've arrived today. We're making an apple, prune and chocolate cake.
Yum.
Gluten-free, lactose-free and delicious. But I already started, I have to confess. I put some apples in the oven. 4 apples have been split and cored, and they've had 35 minutes in the oven with a splash of water in the bottom. So we'll set them aside just to cool down.
All right, what are we going to add, Karen?
We're going to add 120 mils of oil. So this is our butter replacement, if you like. Next in, we'll do 3 eggs, Rich. If you could crack them, don't eat them. I'm sorry, I haven't worked this recipe enough to work out an egg white replacement. So we're putting the whole eggs this time around.
See, Jason, I have an allergy to egg white and not so much to egg yolk. So, and I know that you can replace it with a few things, but it does seem to be...
It's a challenge, finding good replacements.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. 140 grams of coconut sugar. And some vanilla extract, vanilla and apples.
Nice.
Got 75 grams of ground brown rice.
This brand's fantastic, Casolare.
And 300 grams of ground almonds. We'll just pop the cake into the cake tin. Just like that, Rich. So now we get to put the pre-soaked Angus Park prunes. I've soaked them in some hot water for a couple of hours, and this just plumps the prune up. And if you'd like to cut the apples into some wedges, like each half into about 6.
Okay. Yep.
This is the fun bit where you do some decorating. I think for this sort of cake, with the skin on the apple, you need to have a little bit of a rustic touch. And then I'm looking for around 50 grams of dark chocolate. The trick to cooking with chocolate in a cake like this, you wouldn't just sprinkle it over the top, because it's going to take 45 minutes in the oven and the chocolate tends to burn, so we hide it in the cake, pushing it down into the batter. Into a preheated oven at 165 degrees, so not too hot. We want a long, slow cook for 45 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Jason, I'd really like to ask you the difference between someone who is celiac and someone who is gluten intolerant.
Yeah, well, it's a really important question. We know about 10% of Australians at least are going wheat-free or gluten-free. And in most of those cases, it's because they're feeling unwell, that they're getting tummy upset, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, or sometimes they have just poor concentration or feeling lethargic. And so they go on a gluten-free diet or wheat-free diet and they feel better. But the problem there is that we now know that there's a subset of people who probably have undiagnosed celiac disease, and that's a really important medical autoimmune condition. And we used to think celiac disease was just a bit of a gut issue. You know, you get a bit bloated after eating wheat or pasta. But no, it's far more than that. We now know it's an autoimmune disease and it can present with a whole range of issues. And people who don't follow a gluten-free diet can be at higher risk of infertility or osteoporosis or even pregnancy loss. But those people who don't have celiac disease, what we're finding now, even though they're calling themselves gluten sensitive, in many cases it's actually not gluten that's making them sick. And we're finding the research is showing that there's other wheat components that may be triggering their symptoms. And so it's really important to start with getting tested and getting a proper diagnosis to direct where you go with things.
What's an easy resource for people wanting to test themselves for celiac disease?
Well, one easy way is if people go to the website celiac.org.au/assess. And what we have there is an online assessment tool that people can fill out the symptoms or the problems that they're getting, and it'll generate a letter that they can take to their doctor, and that can help start the conversation. And many of my patients just feel so much better because it validates their years of symptoms that have been often dismissed in the past.
I spent years feeling unwell, and it was not until I got fully tested for everything and I felt really cared for, and then I began that slow road forward, and it was fantastic for me.
Yeah, it's all about improving your health and quality of life and trying to focus in on what you really need in your diet. Again, balance and variety is really what you need. Yeah.
A little bit of everything is the spice of life. Speaking of spice, that cake's got to be ready.
It smells good.
Now look, that looks pretty good. It looks gnarly and brown, but that's exactly how I intended the cake to come out. You can see that the apple has just kept a little bit of blush there. I think we've made a mighty fine apple, prune and chocolate cake. Dr Jason Tye-Din, thank you so much for coming on Intolerant Cooks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, can we offer you a piece of cake?
I'd love a piece, thank
I was
you.
waiting for you to say, no, I've got a nut allergy.
I actually do.
Oh, no!
Peanut allergic.
Ah, so almonds are fine.
Totally fine, yes.
That's funny.
Jason, you can have my piece.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'll make you something later.
You owe me one. All right. How's mine tasting?
That's really good. It's got lots of flavour here.
Sorry, Rich. I'll make you a little omelette. Oh, sorry.
Oh.